Good evening, everyone. It's Mark Wilkinson here. Welcome along to Book Club, Life Remixed Book Club, Chapter 13 tonight. We're looking at Life Remixed. Now That We've Found Love is the title of the chapter. And who better to actually have joined me tonight than Mrs. Wilkie. So this is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I'll be honest with you, we both feel a bit rough today. I've been for a COVID test. I'm all clear, so there's nothing to worry about. But I think we're both feeling a bit run down, so we have to be real with you. Both feeling a bit run down and both need a few breaks, I think, over July and August. But the bottom line is that, or August and September. But overall, the bottom line is we're here. We want to be here. We want to talk to you guys. We want to share some of the stuff that we've both learned along the way. And we're looking forward to you being part of the stream as well. So if you want to send me a message on any of the pages, I'll do my best to put you on the screen. I'll bring in Mrs. Wilkie just in a moment. But before I do that, I'll tell you a little bit of background. Obviously, I've been thinking about writing Life Remixed for like 10 years or more. It's been on my mind, but living in the corporate world, I was like, no, I'm not ready to do it yet. I've got to think about it. I've got to take my time. And if I'm going to tell the truth about my past and stuff like that, then I don't think the corporate world was the place to really do that at that time. But one of the things that I also did during the time of my sort of bankruptcy and recovery after the disease was I started to do a lot of work on myself. I did a lot of self-development. I got myself together. I wanted to understand why I was making all these mistakes and why things weren't going the way I would like them to go. And the more I started to study myself and then put these things into action, the better things got. And I think that was a real kind of, that was a real turning point in my life. And I'm grateful for the turning point. I'm grateful for the information. And I'm really happy that I did turn it around. And now I can be the man today that I'm happy and grateful to be. So without further ado, let me bring in Mrs. Wilkie. She's well outside of her comfort zone doing this, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. Very good, Ems. I love the prep.
I'll just hold this up, guy.
Yeah, just hold that up for the whole the whole 60 minutes or so. Brilliant.
Yeah,
keep it together.
I'd quite like to.
Keep it together, Wilkes. Here comes your bride. Very good. Very good. The story behind that is that Emma made that up because she knows I'm quite an emotional guy and I don't mind sharing some emotions and being. Sorry, what?
You love a cry, don't you?
I love a cry at the end of a movie, especially. Yeah, I get all.
Or just anything. Modern Family, Unicorns and Horses. You're going to wish you never asked me on.
No. This is great. This is all part of the test and the celebration that we're going to talk about. So the more you throw at me, the better is good. So, but I'm okay with that nowadays. I'm quite comfortable. I'm quite an emotional guy, and I put stuff out. You can see by my hand gestures and my movements and everything else, I am actually the one that sort of like goes for the emotion. That's where music and DJing and everything else, that's emotion. And Emma is a lot more still. You can see that already, just the way she is.
I'm just spinning on the chair now.
And should we talk quickly about how far this is outside of your comfort zone?
It's not really outside of my comfort zone. I would just choose not to do it.
What's the difference?
Like I don't feel nervous about doing this or speaking to you. Obviously that's easy. I'd rather speak to you. But yeah, I just wouldn't. Like, I'm in events, we all wear black, we go behind the scenes, we're behind the stage, no one really gets to see us, and that's what I do. So to be in front of the camera, no.
Well,
you owe me big time.
Well, I owe you big time.
It would be a bit weird if you had asked someone else to do this chapter, though, to be fair. I might have had the right help. So. Unless it was Pete Weston, then it would have been fine.
That's quite funny. Actually, Pete says, hi, Team Wilkes. So there he is, talking to man. There he is. He shall appear. Penny's watching, says, hi, guys. Jim on LinkedIn saying, hi, guys. Lloyd from last week. Lloyd and Jarrell tuned in on the big screen. He's got his tech sorted out. So that's great. Jack Harmon saying, me and Stacey are tuned in together. We're on TV as well. There you go.
Wow. Is there nothing TV tonight.
There's nothing better than this on TV tonight. Nothing. This is going to be fantastic. Penny says, "Oh, lovely," and then Jack says, "Stacey takes the mick out of me for crying at Modern Family." Jack, it's emotional. It's okay. Don't worry. That's all part of the test and the celebration, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Leslie says,
"Crying is not a test."
No. But Stacey taking the mick out of Jack, or you taking the mick out of me all the time for crying at Modern Family, is part of the test. Is part of the test. Yeah. And if I react well to that, and I love you still, and I cuddle you and go, "Oh, come on, let's get," that's passing the test. Failing the test would be, "Shut up, leave me alone." That's failing the test straight away, right? Anyway, we're going to come back to that. We've jumped ahead. I just want all these great people to be here as well. So Leslie's saying, "Love this already." Diana's saying, "Team Wilkes, love it." Stacey saying hi, and bromance between me and Wilkes.
Pete would be the only other person you could have done this with, and I wouldn't be annoyed.
Okay, well,
I should have got my T-shirt from the day after our wedding, because it had Team Wilkes on my T-shirt. But of course,
yeah.
I was on my own team that morning, wasn't I, Mark?
I want to say that I peaked too early, but that's probably the wrong expression. But I did. I kind of missed the breakfast the next day because I was battered. Anyway, let's keep going. Guy Raymond says, "Respect to Emma. You're a blinding DJ." I think that's meant to be. So, and
Guy.
And other people there are saying, "Ooh, do tell," and do tell.
I'll tell. It's fine.
Yeah, well, go on then. You might as well do it now.
Oh, what, the night of our wedding?
Well, the next morning.
Well, let's go back to the night of. Mark Wilkinson doesn't drink, so you think he would realise that maybe one shot would send him over? No, people get buying him drinks all of the wedding reception in the evening. By the time we got to the end of the night, our room, we had a suite and it had 2 massive double beds in there. Is this too much information, Wilkes?
No, that's fine.
So we got into bed that evening, like thinking about the wedding, how lovely it was, being surrounded by friends and family. At which point Mark asked me if I would sleep in the other bed because he was going to throw up. So that was lovely.
My God. Well, in my defence, what I was trying to do, I kept saying to him, "Just give me a lime and soda. Just give me a lime and soda." And by the time the 20th person to put a vodka in it, I was just like, because I don't drink, I was literally like, "Oh no, it's all on top." And thank goodness for those 2 double beds, because you got the sleep you needed.
And I went down the breakfast with Team Wilkes on this T-shirt I had printed, and I went down on my own because he said you couldn't face breakfast.
Hang on, wait.
You came down, didn't you?
I came down with the shakes the next morning, but Ian Russell's on here and he just says,
exactly. Married life.
First day of married life. Well, come on. Right. Should we talk about the bookends? Should we talk about Life Remixed? Yeah, okay.
Fine. Yeah, it took long enough for you to write, so yeah.
Yeah, it did. It was an idea that had been bubbling around the whole time we've been together. We've been together 8 years now.
You kept going on about it.
Pardon?
You kept going on and on about it.
Yeah, it was a vision. It was a vision. It was a goal. It was part of my purpose. It was like, I must write this book. I must write it down and share with people about how to recover from an incurable disease, how to recover from bankruptcy, and how to actually start a happy, healthy, wealthy, successful life. And there's lots of people that were like me when we were younger. We were all out partying. We were all out hitting it hard. We all made mistakes along the way, but the point was that I knew that I had this book in me. And we sat down this evening, didn't we, about an hour or 2 ago, and went through chapter 13 together, which was quite a good experience with Frankie as well. And I always start with the quotes. I always start with the quotes at the beginning of the chapter, now that we've found love, which some of you may remember as a song. I don't know. But anyway, so 3 quotes at the start, 2 from David Dada. The most loving women are the women who will test you the most. That is something that I learned quite late in life.
Yeah, I like it. I like it when that quote ends. It's when she goes quiet, she's planning your death.
Well, that's true, and we'll talk about some people seeing, like, relationships and nagging in relationships and stuff like that. It's not nagging at all. It's about your perception of it, and we'll come back to that. One of the deepest feminine pleasures is when a masculine man stands full, present, and unreactive in the midst of his women's emotional storms. How do you feel about that?
I would agree with that.
And then here's the next one. The hardest question I ever had to answer about love and relationships was, what is it about me that is attracting all this drama? And that was written by a fellow called Mark Wilkinson.
And what was it about you? We don't do drama.
I don't now.
Now.
I think if you remember the subtext, obviously the subtext of the book at the moment is looking beyond the dance to face the music, and that's what we went with. But actually, the original subtext was inner turmoil to inner peace. And I think that with inner turmoil that I had as a young man, as a young lad, football, discos, music, drink, sex, drugs, house music, all of that, it was just masking a lot of stuff. And it was all the inner turmoil and the drama that was going on within me, my thoughts, my subconscious programming, and then the way I acted and what I did in the world. That was really the drama. And that was all the drama that was going on within me. And then guess what? All I did was attract loads more drama. And then I fixed it and I met you.
Yeah, I don't like to do drama, really.
No, we don't do drama. We don't do drama at all. I mean, we actually help and support. And I remember one of the early days of our relationship, I was on the phone to you at Heathrow and I was talking to you about something, and I had a pressure moment. And I was talking to you about something, and you just said something very, very supportive. And I remember being almost like surprised. And I was like, oh, I went, that's really supportive. Thank you. And what you said was, can you remember what you said?
Yeah, when you tell me, I'll remember.
You said, the day I don't support you is the day you should leave me.
Yes, it's the day you should get rid, basically. If you're with someone and they're not supporting you, or they're not working alongside you on your team, just get rid of them. The next one will come along and that'll be much better.
Is that your ethos, Em?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worked quite well up to this point.
Lots of people just stay with someone because they need someone. And I get that. I know people that do that. But what's the point? Are you wasting time? I don't know, maybe. Hopefully the person you want to be with at that time will come along.
There's some good comments in. Penny says, are you sure you're not a red, Emma? Straight to the point.
I'm a green blue, quickly followed by red. So I can be a green red when I want, or a green blue when I want.
And we'll talk a bit about e-colours and how it's helped our relationship as well, of course. Getting some lovely quotes in here. Someone says, don't forget the milk, mate. Yeah, that's very good. That's a quote directly from The Way of the Superior Man. And Guy says, Mark, you're an inspiration. I quietly like you a lot, and you've taught me some good shit. Thank you, Guy. Well, you're no longer quiet because you're on the screen with us. So very much appreciate you having you here, mate. So obviously, I left the chapter of Now That We Found Love. I left it right to the end of Life Remixed. I put it at chapter 13, whereas actually by rights, it probably should have been right at the very beginning. And I believe that's why my next book is going to be about relationships. I've drafted it all out and I just need to find the time to start to write it. But it's going to be based on remixing your relationships or getting your relationships right, because they're the foundation. Have you found that, Ems, along the way? Do you feel, how do you feel now, I guess, as opposed to when you were younger?
I've always, I don't know, I've always been all right in relationships. Obviously not as well as with you, because I married you. But yeah, I've probably not had as many relationships as you have, shall we say.
We're not answering that one. Yes, very good, Ems, very good. Yeah, I say.
Do people want to read a book from you on relationships? I'm waiting for some comments to come along, perhaps.
Now, what's really interesting there is that I'm a top colour yellow in e-colour, so I'm all about socialising, talking, listening, chatting, blah, blah, blah.
Not listening, talking.
Touche. And we'll talk about that in a bit as well. But as far as well, you thrown me off course now. Yeah, as far as writing a book on relationships, I think that your relationships is not just your relationships with other people, is it? It's actually your relationship with yourself first and foremost, because no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter how much you achieve, how many holidays you go on, how many relationships you get into, no matter any of that, the relationship with yourself is fundamental, because it's the one thing that goes on throughout your entire, hopefully 100 years, right?
Yeah, you can't leave yourself.
It's a good point. You can't leave yourself. You know, you've got to be comfortable in your own skin, I think. And so many people get into relationships well before, years before they get comfortable in their own skin, and then they wonder why things don't work out. And I think that's a great point.
I believe there's different people come to your life at different times. I personally don't believe you should be with that one person through your whole life. That sounds terrible, because my mum and dad have been together their whole lives.
Okay, I'll just get my lawyer on.
But back then, that's what you did. That's what people did. They got married and they stayed together. Now it's a bit more. I don't know, it seems, yeah, you can move on a lot easier. No, I take that back. Divorce is always hard, difficult. But I believe there's different people that come into your lives at different stages. As you grow older, you change. You know more what you're looking for. You know what you want. And then, yeah, so would any of us want to be with who we were with when we were 20? I know Penny would, because she's been posting about her.
No. Penny's been 14 years. So she met her husband when she was 36.
Oh,
so
wow.
Actually, many of us tend to meet our partners as we get a bit older, and our life partners. And I think that's ultimately turns out to be quite a sensible move. I'm getting loads of comments here as well.
But then going back, there's some people that do stay together from like high school, and it depends if you grow together and you're going in the same direction, or if you start to want different things and part, which is okay as well. Anyway, yeah.
So my definition of love, as you know, is total acceptance, and it's something that I worked on. It's something that I thought about, and it's something that I put a lot of time and effort and energy into well before I met you, Em, because I wanted to understand what love really was. And I ask a lot of people, coaching clients, and I say, well, so what is love then to you? And I get so many people who cannot answer it. They're like, when I ask them, okay, that's why I didn't ask you the question. But the point is, from my perspective, is that it's total acceptance. And I started by totally accepting this molecular structure that I've been given to walk around in on this planet. And then I started on total acceptance of Mum and Dan and other members of the family. And then I continued that total acceptance journey until I met you. And then I just practiced that further into totally accepting you as you are. I'm not here to try and change you. I'm not here to try and do anything apart from support you and help you to your highest good. But I feel that you can only do that through total acceptance of yourself and then of someone else.
I was going to say, why did you make me watch all the football then?
Yeah, you secretly loved that. Anyway, I'm getting some great comments here. You're right, Emma. I can't live in an unhappy relationship. That's from Caroline. So Penny says she'd read the book if Emma does some chapters. It looks like we're writing it together, Em. Mark and Emma Wilkinson. Here we go. Relationships. Here we go. Lloyd, we would like to read a book on relationship by Emma. She's on the money. Excellent.
Experience, I don't think.
Stacey says, looking forward to the relationship book, as myself and Jack are the same colours as you guys, which is excellent. Jack just says, we're looking forward to the book. Hurry up and finish it, Mark. Okay, well, it looks like I've got a co-author now, so we'll be working on that together. Nigel says, Mark, we know who wears the trousers in your house, and it's not you. Nigel, we shall be talking about the masculine and the feminine and the masculine gift.
Sometimes he does.
The masculine is about decisiveness, and I do make decisions. But sometimes I can flip into my feminine when I do music and enjoy myself like that. And then I can flip back into the masculine, and Emma can flip between the two, because guess what? We're all made up 50% of mum and 50% of dad. You know, we've got masculine and feminine genetics in our body. That's how we're made up. And we just grow up, some of us might accentuate more towards the masculine. If I asked you if you were more like your mum or your dad, Em, what would you say?
My dad.
Yeah. So that your masculine perspective certainly drove you to set up your own businesses and get moving in that way.
And you know what? I really don't like that. Where's the trousers?
No,
Like, I like trousers as well.
Nigel, I'll be picking you up on that. If you want some coaching sessions, come and see me. Anyway, Emma, you are a comedian on the quiet, methinks. Too funny. Very good.
Now, that would be a zone if I did a comedy set somewhere. I might be up one day, but I'd have to talk about Mark.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. We're gonna work together. Penny says, "Have you both changed?" That's an interesting question.
I don't think so. You have. Well, not since meeting each other.
I have.
In the last 8 years of knowing you, I don't know, mate. Well, yeah, I guess you have.
We're committed to growth. As simple as that. We're committed to growth in all areas.
Yeah, I think because we've got the same drive and ambition and expectations and work ethos and all of that sort of stuff. We're quite similar.
Absolutely we are. Absolutely we are. And I think, the practice of like loving thyself, and I practice that every day, whether Emma does or not, it's her choice. I can't affect that. But from my perspective, I practice on loving myself every day as much as possible. I'm going to the gym. I get my free time. I do my best for my energy, for my clients and everyone I work with. Sometimes I need a rest. Like today, I was exhausted and I had to cancel a couple of appointments. But that's about loving the self, isn't it? That's not about like knackering yourself out just for anyone else, basically. So I think we continue to change and continue to grow. What tends to happen, particularly from chapter 13 of Life Remixed, is that if one partner starts to feel some enlightenment and the other partner doesn't go with them, then if one partner gets enlightened, one of two things will happen. The partner will either say, "That's really interesting. I want to go with you on the journey," and you'll grow together. And that's where I feel you and I are, Emma. But there's other relationships that will separate like oil and water, where one person's getting enlightened and the other one's going, "You're bonkers." It's just how it is.
And that happened to us. When you decided you were going to get into property, you just went for it. You make a decision and you go for it. I hold you back. Have you thought about every single possibility that could ever maybe happen to us, but maybe not, but let's think about them anyway. I'm a bit like that. And when you said you were going to like spend that money to go into property, it was that point where I either thought, right, well, I can go with him on this journey, or I could say, no, I don't want you to do it. I don't think it's right. We shouldn't do that. We need to be safe. We need to And then we probably would have split like that. But I decided to go with you so I could just keep an eye on you and make sure you did it all right.
And we have just bought our first £1 million property, £1 million deal that we're going to build 3 houses to put on some land down in South Wales. So that's exciting for us as a couple. And it just goes to show that it works so well because I go for it. I'm the decision maker in many ways and I get things done and I make things happen. And Emma's there, checks and balances, and making sure that things are actually, all in a row, and that I won't go off, and knacker it out or knacker myself out. So I think that's real positive stuff. And I love you for it, Ems. Total acceptance. There we go. So one of the things I did when I was single was I was challenged on a Tony Robbins program to write down the perfect wife, the perfect woman that I would like to meet. And I made a list, and you know well about this, Ems, and people that have been on my 5 days to remix your life course will know that I made a list of the 10 things that I would like my future wife to be before I met you. I'll read you the list. It's here in the book. It's all here. Loving, kind, generous, attractive, funny, caring, supportive, adventurous, confident, and happy. How do you feel about that list, Ems?
I feel like you need to repeat it. I don't think I'm some of them.
Okay, don't self-analyze yourself too much if you're not comfortable. But from the outside,
it's about you.
Well, from the outside looking in, I believe that you are all these things: loving, kind, generous, attractive, funny. You're funny tonight, Ems, I'm sure. Caring, supportive, adventurous, confident, and happy.
Isn't that nice when someone sees all those things in yourself, but you don't maybe perhaps see it in you?
Well, the one thing that I would say that maybe on the list is adventurous, because sometimes you're not the most adventurous of people.
Yeah.
However, if you remember, we met actually on Match.com. We met on a dating website, Match.com. Probably going to approach them and have a chat with them after this.
You should have mentioned that. We shouldn't have mentioned that. They should give us money for endorsements.
We'll have a chat with him.
Membership feedback. Do you remember where our first date was?
Yeah, the Dog and Fox in Wimbledon.
In Wimbledon Village, yeah. And we went on this date, and I arrived, and there's this really tallest man I've ever been out with glasses, and I was late. And at the end of the night, he gave me a little, like in the 80s, you'd give someone a mixtape. And Mark gave me a little CD.
There you go. Yeah.
Probably to prove that you're a real DJ or something. Yeah,
particularly not cool for someone who doesn't love house music. It was like, have a house music CD. She's like, this is crap.
No, it kept me awake on the way home, driving home, so that's good.
All right, then do you remember where our second date was?
Yeah.
Go on.
The Albany at Thames Ditton.
Well done, tick. And I'm the masculine. I'm not supposed to be testing you, but I might have flipped into my feminine there just to test you for a moment, just to see. But yeah, the Albany in Thames Ditton, very, very nice place by the river. Another endorsement. There you go. So listen, making that list though, for me was something that, particularly as a yellow, red in E-colours, which we will talk about, I can be slightly disorganized at times. And that disorganization, I needed the organization in my mind to go, okay, so I need to write down 10 things that I would like my future wife to be. And I wrote them all down, and I was like, okay. And to be fair, I think I actually wrote quite a lot more. As I say, you hit nearly everyone perfectly. And what was funny on your Match profile was you actually wrote, or I'm not sure you wrote it or you said it to me, that you were like, I'm looking for someone who's actually going to get me out of the house and get me, going plan. We go to Dubai, we go to Thailand, we go all these places, and we've actually been quite adventurous together, should I say? Yeah,
it's more like I was looking for someone to show me new experiences and stuff like that.
Okay.
I did write 10 things about 20 minutes before this call.
Go on in.
How yellow of me. So my 10 things, I wrote driven, ambitious, funny, determined, rich. I wrote new things, stroke experiences, family orientated, smart, although I do need to ask Alexa a lot of questions instead of you nowadays. Someone that pushes and encourages me. And then I just put number 10, someone that wears glasses.
Because you ran out of things to write.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my 10. And you are all those things. Thank you very much. Yeah.
That's very generous of you to say so. And I think it's important. Here's the important piece. And I know we're flitting back and forth to E-colours without actually describing it as such up to this point, but it does come in later on. But it is about appreciation. It's about appreciating each other's differences. It's about, looking at that other person and saying, what do they bring? Do they bring an energy? There's certain people that are energy thieves and they'll try and take your energy, and there's certain people that are energy givers. But you can only give energy if you're full of energy yourself. So what I did when I was single was I filled myself up with positive energy. I gave up alcohol. I got myself together, got myself on the right thing, got a job, got just over broke, got myself moving, got myself going, filled myself up with self-love and energy, ran some marathons, got my shit together, and then went for a first date with you. And here we are. Here we are 8 years later. I think that's an important point. And one of the things I would say about you, Em, was that you were very self-sufficient. It was almost like, you were, I don't need no man type stuff, but you were very self-sufficient. You didn't need. Pardon?
Yeah, I was an independent woman. I didn't want to be somebody that relied on a man, that someone could only can move out of mum and dad's and get their own house if you had a partner who could help get the mortgage. And yeah, I wanted to make sure that I even do it now, don't I? I'm always like, if we break up, I will have my own money where I can go and do what I want. I won't need you. I get into that zone.
Yeah. And again, that's part of the testing, because if I reacted poorly to that, then I would be like, oh, what's she doing? She's thinking about, I just negate that. I just go, listen, don't worry about it. I'll give you a cuddle, I'll say some nice words or whatever. And then we move on. And I think that's all part of it.
And you also say you can't be bothered.
Yeah, tough out there. It's tough out there trying to be single. I'm done now. You'll do. No.
Exactly. that is what he says to me, people. He's tired to go looking and going on Match.com again.
Oh, it's too much aggro. It's too much aggro at this stage. I've only got so much energy, Em, you know that. But yeah, look, I mean, what I would say is that really did work. I think that as far as e-colours goes, I think we should go straight into e-colours as well now, because
Wilkes, the thing I like about that list is when you're writing this list of this perfect man that I'm looking for, and then when you flip it and say, well, to find that man, I've got to be all of these things. So I need to be driven and ambitious and funny and rich and family and smart, and only when I am those things, I'm going to attract that person. That's the whole point about this. It's not about the woman, the man, whoever you're looking for. It's actually about you, which you taught me. So thanks for that.
And you'll notice there the difference between the top colour yellow in e-colours that wanted to fly on to the next subject, and the top colour green that said, hold on a minute, we haven't finished. We haven't finished that bit there. We need to wrap that bit up. But exactly right. And thank you, my darling wife, for doing that. It is all about yourself. It's literally about yourself. I had to become all of those things in order to attract Emma. And Emma has to be all of those things to continue to attract me. It's about vibration. We are in a positive vibration together, and we attract each other, and we go up and up and up and up and up. And
now,
you know,
now we've found each other. If I still want those things from you, or maybe there's different things I want from a husband now, I still need to be those things if I'm going to expect you to become them and to be them as well.
That's very true, because like attracts like, and like ripples in a pond. You know, if I make a change and I go, right, actually, I'm going to do this, you know, like I did with the property game, for instance, or like I've done with Life Remixed and everything else. I've gone, I'm doing this, and you're like, yeah, I'm in. You know, let's go. And so we just keep pushing each other and driving each other on. I mean, you know, getting the puppy. Classic, getting Frankie the puppy. Classic
Decision.
Pardon?
I'm not sure that was the best decision of mine.
But here's the thing: you visualized it for 18 years. You wanted a puppy. You were like, "That's going to be success." You were even looking back on our session at Brandon Block's Happy Days from 3 years ago probably. And one of the top things you wrote down was, "I want a dog."
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, and it is getting easier. I joke, he's a puppy, so that's why he's a bit mental at the moment. It will get easier, won't it?
It will get easier. It will get easier. And the point is that it's already getting easier. But the thing about it is that you visualized that it was what you wanted. But as a top color green in e-colors, which we're going to come on to, you literally took ages to make that decision. You procrastinated on it. You thought about it. You analyzed it. You looked at every other person.
It drives me crazy. I overthink about 18 years whether I'm going to get a dog or not. That's bonkers.
And what did I do?
I have to think about every little thing. How much will it cost? How much will the insurance be? How much will the vet bills be? What if they trash the house? What if this happens? What if we need to go on holiday? Who will babysit the dog? What if I need to take just in my head? Like, I can't stop overthinking. But then, yeah, e-colours is another thing that helped me in that area, which I'll let you introduce.
Yeah, so how did we, let's finish that off. How did we end up with a puppy? You came to me one evening back in March and you said...
I've been looking at the website thing. I can't remember what it's called, where you get
Pets for Homes.
Yeah, I was looking on there. And one Friday night, I found an advert. She literally put it up 40 minutes before. So many... And thank you, Pete Weston, for your advice and help.
Wait.
Yeah, I quizzed everybody, but Pete's got one. So Pete got a full quizzing from me. But so many times that by the time you even get in touch with the owner, they've already gone. So I was like, I need to take action. I need to do it, make a decision and get it done. So I shouted to you in the kitchen, Wilkes, this lady's just advertised puppies like 40 minutes ago. And you were like, I think you said, for God's sake, just call her.
I think I said to you, just ring her up, will you?
And I was like, oh, show him I will ring her up. I got my phone and I phoned her up immediately. And you were in the kitchen thinking, oh my God, she's actually phoning her. And we went to see Frankie and his brother and sisters the next morning and brought him home straight away. We didn't have anything, which goes against my green. No dog bed, no food, no pee pads, no anything. So it was a quick... We've got a dog. The amount of stress that caused me knowing we've got a dog, but nothing. But in true Mark Wilkinson style, no problem. We just stop at Pets at Home, buy the shop out, and that's it.
And bring him home.
Yeah, finally got a dog.
And I think so. You know, if we go into the e-colours, the e-colours thing was something that, you know, because I remember saying this on the e-colours course we were doing, and Andy Ward, who's my guest tomorrow night on Straight Talking, Andy actually sort of like in his very red, very blunt kind of straight way, actually just said to me, so, you know, you did all that scientifically, did you? And I was like, well, no, not at all. And I think I didn't get a chance to really explain it. So here's my chance to explain it. So I'd done my e-colours about 2011.
Do you want to tell people what e-colours actually is for those who don't know?
I'm about to. So I did my e-colours in about 2011, when bankrupt, on my arse, didn't know what I was going to do with the rest of my life, was interested in health and safety, saw it as a way into a new career in oil and gas and construction and stuff like that. And I did this e-colours thing because it came from health and safety. And what it is actually a personality diversity indicator. And what it does in my career, in my professional life, is it actually can predict how people can get hurt based on their personality, which in itself is like a game changer. It's absolutely incredible for any health and safety person or anyone who's working in any environment, but a high risk environment especially. If you can predict how someone could get hurt on their personality alone, you've got a tool to be able to like help them. And that is incredible. So I studied it for that, and I was like, well, this is amazing. And I did my e-colours, and it came out, and I came out as yellow blue at the time. And my yellow blue, and it said things like, you love parties, you probably love music, you love people. And I was literally reading this thing going like, I was like, I could have written this, you know, and there's only 12 e-colour combinations. And I've done this personality diversity indicator for 15 minutes, and it's literally just come out, and it's like me. And I'm like, my goodness, this is incredible. And that was what hooked me. And then I started to interact with Lewis Senior, and I started to find out more and more and more about Equilibria and e-colours. And one of my goals was actually to join them and work with them as a coach. And it never happened until only recently. And now that's what we do. Guess what? Vision, dream, goal, purpose. Here's the thing, though. So I started to understand more about all the other e-colours. And I started to understand about yellow blues are very emotional and very people orientated. And if you look at the red greens, they're very task orientated. They just want to get it done, particularly the reds. The greens just want the detail. The yellows want to socialize, and the blues want to empathize. When I started to understand that we have all 4 e-colour combinations within us, and we've all got different percentages of that. So there'll be 2 that are probably more dominant in most people, and then there'll be the 2 that are less. What I did for myself was my green, my logical, my strategy, my thinking, you know, 9%. I mean, it was like paltry. And I remember looking at that and thinking, if I'm going to make it in the corporate world, unless I'm an Equilibria coach, which they couldn't employ me straight away. If I'm going to be in the corporate world, I've got to do something about that 9% green. I've got to do something about it. There's no way I'm going to be able to improve myself. You know, I was already committed to self-development. I already had this idea. You know, I had all of that going on, and I was like, I've got to do something about that low green score. So I studied, and I started to do more and more study. I did level 5 MVQs. You know, ended up with masters. You know, huge amount of detail I went into to rise myself all the way up the corporate ladder. Now I have a master's. You know, in a really positive place. But the thing about it I noticed was actually it's about relationships. And it's about it doesn't have to be just at work. It can be in any kind of scenario that if you understand yourself and then you understand the other person, you're in a very strong position, because then you can actually know how to communicate with them what they need. So I met Emma. I found Emma quite slow at times, a bit ponderous. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean, she was thinking. She was just thinking about stuff, taking her time, ages before she would commit or make a decision to something, anything, any little subjects even. And I was so like, come on, guys, keep going. I'm excited. She's a great woman. I love this. And I'd find her very calming. I find her very calming, which I loved. But I also found that kind of like, oh, come on. And then I asked you to do your e-colours, right?
Yeah, because you would ask me things like, do you want to go on holiday in like March 2023? And I'd be like, oh, I need a few weeks to think about it. You were like, what? It's ages away. Why can't we just book a holiday? And I'm like, no, I need to think about it. I've never liked surprises. I like to know what's happening, when it's happening, how it's happening. Basically, top colour green. But yeah, you asked me to do e-colours, and I thought, well, yeah, I love a little game like that where it tells you about yourself. So I went online and did it, and I came out green, blue, which is all the green Mark needs. But to be fair, my yellow was even worse. I think, was I 4% yellow or something? Really, 3% yellow. Which basically means I don't like people. No, it doesn't at all.
No, what it means is you have to dig a bit deeper to get to that socializer aspect.
Yeah, which means I don't like stuff like this. I don't like going out for dinner with people. I don't like sitting around talking to people. I don't like having to socialise with, especially with new people that I've not met before. Honestly, no, I jest. I do love meeting new people. It's interesting. I ask them like tons of questions. Somebody said to me once, "You a cop?" Like, he actually thought I worked for the police. I was like, no, I'm just interested. But anyway, yeah, and then we found out that Mark used to drive me bonkers, just because he would just jump in. He's the sort of guy that, you know, I don't know, he would jump out an airplane without even checking he's got a parachute. He's just decided, and it used to drive me crazy. I'll tell the bed story. When we needed a new bed and we went to Dreams that time, we walked in there, you sat on one bed and said, yeah, this is it, we'll get it. Oh my God, I nearly had heart palpitations.
Hold on. We needed a king size, super king size bed. Yeah. And I walked in and saw the super king, the biggest one that was out. And I sat and I went, yeah, what match? Yeah, this is it. This will do.
And it was very expensive because of the size of the stuff we need to buy now to accommodate you, Mark Wilkinson, 6'4". Yeah, so I think I had a meltdown. I was like, you cannot just walk into a shop and buy a bed. He doesn't even know if it's going to fit in the bedroom. He doesn't know if the side tables are going to go next to it. He doesn't know if it will be able to get up and around the stairs. He had given no thought to this bed at all, apart from, yeah, that's it, we'll buy it. To his credit, we did go back 3 days later and buy the exact same bed he said to get. And that does happen a lot in our relationship, which really irritates me.
Can I just come in on holiday bookings as well? Because a lot of the time, we haven't been on holiday for a while, clearly.
You ever have arguments about booking holidays? What a joyous time with your partner, but you used to make me cry. We used to row and shout at each other. I think we still do now. Holidays.
Let's describe, because I would literally just walk in and go, babe, listen, I want to go on holiday. Can we go next month? Can we find a gap in the diary? Can we just go?
You would say, I want to go on holiday at 5 o'clock tonight. Is that all right? I've not even got any summer clothes to wear.
And but the point was is that I'd be action orientated. Let's get on with it. Let's go. And Emma, you know, I didn't realise this until she did her e-colours, but that's unfair of me, because she actually needs time to process. She needs time to look through everything. She needs to understand all the options. And obviously, you know, I go, right, that hotel, that place, that week, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm ready. You know, I'll pack a bag and be on a plane, and it's not a problem. But that's not fair of me on Emma. When I understand Emma's personality type, I have to understand that she operates in a completely different way in the world. And as she operates in a completely different way in the world, I must then present her with information and say, okay, look, you know, I would love to go on this week, a couple of different options. I would like to go here. There's a couple of hotels I've been looking at. Can you do some research? And then you just, you know, ultimately you decide. You come back and tell me what it is that you would like. And 9 times out of 10, here's the thing. I've offered my decision. I've said, I want to go to, I don't know, Dubai, Ibiza, Thailand, Miami, wherever. I want to go here. I want to go on this date. This is the hotel I'd love to stay in. Emma will go and research everything just to satisfy her own requirements, her own needs. And then we'll end up going pretty much, with a couple of tweaks maybe, we'll end up going pretty much exactly what I would have liked in the first place.
Yeah, but you guys, I researched Singapore. We stayed in the Marina Bay Sands. That was incredible.
I didn't do that. That was amazing. That was all you. That was all you. The Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. What a hotel that is. And I would never have stayed there without you actually going, I've researched this and I want to go here. So, yes.
And things, when we actually booked the holiday, and I spent literally 4 days checking where's the best place to go to currency, to get currency for the holiday, what would give us the best conversions where we save money. 4 days. I gave him all the details. I need you to go here. This is what we're going to do. He said, yep, no problem. He's going to do it. I said, great, excellent. Next thing I know, he didn't have time, so he didn't bother. He just went to Heathrow Terminal 4 and exchanged the money. And I think I didn't speak to you for a week because I was so upset that I did all that research and then figured out that you had actually lost us 100 quid in the.
Don't worry, babe. I got it back quite quickly. But yes, I understand that you were upset about that. I must also say, just on my personal profile, we've got Mark James is watching us, and Emma Knight, your very good friend, Emma Knight. And, Emma Knight's watching, obviously, with Ant. They've been happily married for some years. What's it say? 16 years. And your maiden name was Emma Knight's, correct, Em?
Yeah, with an S, the way you're meant to spell it.
And
but then without an S.
Emma Knight, she's Emma Knight. But there you go. There we go. So look, let's keep going because I think it's important for people to understand how relationships work in that way, and also about appreciating each other. If you appreciate each other's skills, if you're two alike, things won't necessarily work out. Sometimes there's a great thing in Modern Family, actually. Jack was talking about Modern Family. He talks about the dreamers and the planners. And you would think the dreamers get with the dreamers and the planners get with the planners, but it doesn't work like that. It actually works with the dreamers, get with the planners, and they actually work together as a team, and that's where the real magic happens. So I think it's really important to appreciate each other, and
it's not only us. I got my dad to do it as well, and very much like our friend Andy, Top Colour Reds. I always used to get upset by him, how he would comment and just get to the point and be quite blunt, and which I felt was actually quite rude.
He's watching, by the way, Em. He's watching.
I'm not worried about Andy watching because Andy.
Your dad.
My dad, he might watch it now. I'm talking about him, but the thing is, he won't ever be able to work out how to get on the chat, so it's fine.
Anyway, carry on. You used to think he was quite blunt.
Yeah, just blunt and rude, and not taking in other people's opinions. His way the right way. But now eColours kind of helps you appreciate those types of people and that we need them, and we are actually surrounded with them in our lives. And now I like that straight talking bluntness. I know he's not trying to hurt my feelings or upset me or make me cry. But yeah, it's just for your. And then I work in corporate events, so then it kind of transpired that Hold On eColours can work in corporate events and teams and people. We've since spoken to people in education. There's children as young as 7 who pick this up, and it kind of stops bullying at school and helps people like 7-year-olds that are quiet and will never put their hand up are starting to put their hand up in the classroom now. And the chatterboxes, like Mark, are actually stepping back and letting other people have a chance to shout the answer out. And then also eColours in sport. I'm literally like, I want to have a day when we can all wear Star Trek outfits and we've all got our eColours on our shoulders, so I could walk into Tesco's and be like, oh, you're blue. And remember when we had that call last week, Wilkes, and I started chatting to this guy, how are you, how was your weekend? And I think Mark just wrote on a bit of paper RY, so it's like red, yellow, and I was like, right, okay, let's get straight to the point. I knew he didn't want to chat now, this guy. He just wants to get to the point. Why are we there for the meeting? Let's talk about that and get off. And I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, because you know how to appreciate other people. So I know how to appreciate you as a green. You need detail. You know how to appreciate or approach me rather. I just need bullet points. You need to approach me with bullet points, and that's what you do. You'll literally grab my attention, sit me down for 10 minutes and go, Wilkes, bump, 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 bump. And I go, and then we're off again.
Yeah, and as a green, I do like a lot of detail, so I assume everybody wants the detail. My emails have been known to be massive, but if you read the email, everything you ever want is in there. But then I know if I send that sort of email to Mark, he's never going to read it. So what a waste of my time writing that down. So then I know with Mark, no flannel, just bullet points, or this is what I need you to do. That's all he wants.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think if you've ever received a one-line email from Andy Ward, my guest tomorrow evening, if you've ever received a one-line email from Andy Ward, when he literally might as well just call you an idiot sometimes. Certainly it's how it felt, doesn't it? You're kind of like, whoa, But Andy's going to talk tomorrow night about his experience of Life Remixed, eColours coaching, as well as all music and everything else we're going to talk about in his career. But he's learned so much in the last few months. He won't mind me saying he's learned so much in the last few months now, just by doing his e-column.
Yeah, you can see the change in him, the stuff that he comments, or when he sent us that email about how he replied to an email, which normally he would have been like, "Read the email, you idiot." Now I can understand why you might have read it like that, but yeah, it's good.
He actually said, "I can understand how you might have read it like that, but please read the email again. Thank you, Andy." And I was like,
yeah.
Rather than like annihilating someone, he actually thought about it, which is great. So it's really powerful stuff. So all of this works well, right? It all works well. And then we also not have to, but we choose to talk about some other things as well. I mean, loving what you do really helps as well. Being an entrepreneur, loving what you do, or even working for someone else if you want to, but loving what you do in order to grow as an individual and then as a couple. I mean, since you were 25, you left your job basically, and you've been an entrepreneur running your own business.
Yeah, but I kind of got into that not by mistake, but in a bit of a bad way, when I was like saying my old boss, I was like, well, I'll show you. And I wanted to show my dad as well. I'll show you, I can do it and I will do it. And I stopped off and then quit my job and started my own business. But yeah, loving what you do. I'm not sure. We have discussions about that, Wilk. So.
Well, you have to continue on your journey. Like I'm finding what I knew. I mean, if you remember the day I got sacked from my last job, or the day I left my last job.
3 weeks. We got married. Yes, I remember that.
I think it was 6 weeks after we got married, and I rang you and said, "Listen, it's not working out here." I was already planning for leaving by Christmas. As it was October, and I left my last job. And I remember getting home, and I'd already rung ahead and told Emma what had happened, and she knew that, And she wrote a big poster, and I love her for this. She wrote a big poster, and she put it up on the wall when I walked in front of me, and she said, "Congratulations, babe. You've been talking about this for a while. Now let's make a success of it." And I mean, after you've just had a kick in the nuts from the corporate world, literally to get that amount of support from your wife, your recent wife of 6 weeks. I mean, some wives might have just been packing their bags and like, "I'll see you later."
I mean, what can I do? Like, you come in and I start, how are we going to pay the mortgage? How are we going to feed each other? What money are we going to get an extra? Like, what's the point of that? It happened for a reason, and it's the best thing that happened to you. One of the best things that happened to you.
Well, 3.5 years later, here we are making a go of our lives and doing things that 5 years ago neither one of us would have imagined we'd be doing, and yet here we are. Or never thought we might have doubted whether we could achieve it, and yet here we are actually doing it. And there's so much more to come as well.
But the thing about you is you know what your purpose is. I'm maybe still trying to figure mine out, even at my age, which isn't a bad thing. It's not wrong. But you're so focused on what your purpose is, and you absolutely love what you do. Yes, I love what I do. I do love what I do. But if I win the lottery tomorrow, would I keep doing it? No. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll find something else I love. But would you keep doing what you? Yeah, definitely. If we won the lottery, you'd still keep doing what you're doing.
100%. I just do it bigger.
Yeah.
I just do it bigger and better, and that's where we're going, and that's the goal. Over the next 10 years, next 20 years, next 37 years, until I'm 87, standing, at the same age as Bob Proctor. This is it. This is passion. This is drive. This is enthusiasm. This is love, and this is appreciation. But the point is, if you read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, there's a chapter in there where he talks about every millionaire, and one of the chapters he talks about is called the transmutation of sexual energy. And what that actually means for anyone listening is actually, as a guy, you actually, get rid of that energy that you had when you were younger, and you mutate it actually into a better energy. But the way to do that is to find that solid foundation that Emma and I have found, and this appreciation we found. Find that, and then you're free to actually, from my perspective as a masculine man with this purpose, it's my job now. I'm now free to make that happen, while I've got the support of Emma. If I didn't have the support of Emma, it would just be a mess and it'd be all over the place and I'd be struggling. But as it is, I've got the support of Emma, and that's what makes the difference. That's what uplifts me. That's what gets me going. It's all part of the joy. It's all part of the joy of having Emma, having Frankie.
And now, Mark, do you love yourself?
Totally.
There's nothing about you don't like.
I'm going to join the 6-pack challenge, I think, probably in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
But I would say that, Louise Hay challenged me on that when I read You Can Heal Your Life. Literally stand naked in front of the mirror and look at yourself and accept yourself, love yourself. There's a difference here because some people think love is ego. Oh, look at me, aren't I amazing? No, it's not about that at all. It's actually about just looking at this beautiful body you've been given and looking at this mind you've been given and accepting it. And that is the key. Once you accept it, I spend no time of my day now worrying about anything. I used to worry about everything when I was younger, and it led me to incurable disease and bankruptcy. I worried about everything. I worried about my weight. I worried about everything about me. I worried about relationships going wrong. I worried about my career going wrong. I worried about this. I worried about that. Guess what? That was a complete waste of time. An utter waste of time. And if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would say to him, don't worry about anything. I put my arm around him and say to him, you don't need to worry. Just keep going, doing what you're doing. Love your life. Create assets. Do more creative things than you're doing. But I didn't. I had to nose it all up to actually then come back and do it better.
So I've never really nosed it up. And I'm a born worrier. I worry about everything. But part of me feels that that's kept me in good stead because I was worrying about, can I get the next job? Can I make enough money? And that worry kind of kept me going in a way, like it was the fire to make me work harder and get more clients and do great work for people and get the decent house and get the car. And yeah, so I don't know. I think for me and worry are kind of like, we work quite well together.
Yeah, and I think you use your worry for good in many ways. I think you use your worry to motivate yourself to move forward. I've just got to read this comment from Catherine, who we met on Saturday up in Norwich with Tim. She says, I like detail. I'm with you. Tim drives me crazy. However, I'm also impulsive and make quick decisions because I rely on my gut. I was a buyer for tens of years. You do need both skills. And I agree with you. I think that very much so. We're all made up of those 4 different E-colours we're talking about. And Catherine, you sound like you've got probably, around 20% of pretty much all of those, and maybe a couple that will be a little bit stronger. And I'll send you the link to do the E-colours because I'd love your feedback. But yeah, I think it's important stuff, this. And all of this we're talking about, living your passion, loving what you do, helping and supporting each other, appreciating each other. Then we get into something called the love languages. This was something you got me to do, I think, Ems.
Did I? Sounds unlike me.
Really? Well, actually, no.
It might be Dimple.
No, I think it was Gordon. I think it was Gordon Burt, one of our other coaches through KGW.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got us to look at this book called The Love Languages by Gary Chapman. 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And can you? Should I test you, Ems, or should I just should I just tell everyone the answer to the 5 love languages?
Well, you told me before the call.
Can you remember them all, though?
Yeah, my love languages: acts of service and quality time.
Yes. So Emma's love languages, her 2 main ones are acts of service and quality time.
Anything from fixing the cupboard door in the kitchen. To going to buy me a sandwich at lunchtime, or just putting the bins out on a Wednesday.
Bins go out tonight, and acts of service, you get a cup of tea every morning. Don't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. And then quality time, which is when, you are a coach, you talk a lot to other people. But yeah, quality time when it's just us and your phone isn't buzzing and you're not on your laptop, or we're not just watching TV. We're actually spending quality time together.
Yes, and I know that's important to you. And I'm going to be straight here with everyone watching. And there are a lot of people watching, a lot of comments. Sorry? Are
you going to fix the cupboard door?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get the guy. Maybe we'll get the guy to fix the cupboard door. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be straight here. I know that I don't give enough quality time to you. I know that. And it's something that consistently is in my mind, and even today and I will let all the coaching clients know and everything as well. We've decided to book a week off at the end of August and a week off at the end of September and early October, because we need a break. We actually need a break, and we do actually need time together. We've spent, since lockdown, since your event business paused, and then you took a couple of weeks to get your head together and came into what I was doing, and now we're working like crazy on everything we're doing, which is amazing, by the way. COVID has accelerated what should have happened for Emma and I earlier, what could have happened for Emma and I earlier. So it's actually brought us closer together and made us more of a team going forward, which is actually, in every crisis, there's an opportunity. Those of you who have read the book, you know that's one of the first things I say. Certainly, that kind of like bringing us together and getting us moving is important. But we do need more quality time together, which is why we've booked those 2 weeks off in our diary. And I will confirm that with everyone, all the coaching clients watching and stuff as well.
I know that I don't give you your love languages enough.
So what are they, Ems?
Probably physical contact.
Okay, physical touch and.
Yeah, see, because I don't need that. I'm a bit like, yeah, forget that. Do I need to keep touching you or give you a cuddle? Like, I'm a bit like, no.
Once in a while doesn't hurt.
Yeah. What's the other one? Oh my goodness, words of affirmation. This is a man that likes to be told, thank you for making the dinner, Will, because it tastes delicious. Well done. Thank you for putting the bins out. But then other things like, congratulations on this book. This book's incredible. And he really likes to hear that all the time. I think that's a huge thing for you. But because I'm a green and I don't like praise, see, even e-colours, we go back to that. Greens don't like kind of public displays of praise. Like, if you want to thank me, don't thank me in front of like a room full of 50 people. I'd rather go to a private room and tell me, yeah, I'm fantastic, and give me like a little paycheck or something. But Mark would like it to be screamed from the rooftops. And I know I don't do that enough for you.
Well, what you see, Julia's just put needy. She says, I'm needy. Well, actually, Julia, let me just explain that slightly. I wouldn't say needy at all. It's just a love language. It's just something that I like. It's something that, if someone tells me I'm doing a great job, someone tells me I'm playing a great record that they love, I feel great. I'm really appreciative. I say thank you. It's amazing. And when someone pays me a compliment, I always say thank you without a shadow of a doubt. Always, always, always grateful. Because if someone pays you a compliment, they're actually saying that it's something that you have done that actually like has uplifted them and uplifted their soul. And they're saying, here's a compliment, here's some praise. And I'm always thankful. I never used to be very thankful. And I think that was part of my downfall. Louise Hay said, always, when you self-love, someone pays you a compliment, you just go, thank you. And it's important. It's important. I know it was a joke, Julia. Don't worry. But actually,
say thank you to compliments.
Okay.
Like why women do that? Oh my God, that's an amazing dress, and you say, oh, thank you. Like she didn't ask where I got it from, but now I tell her exactly where I bought it from. Or you've done a great event for us, or that website looks fantastic, or something like that. I'm just like, yeah, great. I'll just get a bit embarrassed, or maybe I don't know.
So that's you can only Ems, what I say about that. You can only be embarrassed if you care what anyone else thinks about you.
And I do care what people think, and I know that's my number one mantra. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. What people think of me is none of my business.
But anyone else thinks of you is none of your business. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I keep telling myself.
That's right. But by the way, you are 8 years younger than me. It looks a lot more, but you're 8 years younger than me. And actually, that was a compliment, by the way. And what you could have done was go, thank you. Anyway, so the point is that, I've got this, I'm further advanced in this journey of self-development. But the point is my self-development was accelerated by my failure and my disasters and my crisis. But that actually led me to learn this stuff very, very quickly because I needed to get back on my feet, and I ended up at the board of directors, 100 grand a year plus, blah, blah, blah. Jack's just saying, what's the name of the book? Going to buy it right now. So Jack, it is by Gary Chapman, and it's called 5 Love Languages. You can look at it online as well. Like the e-colors, if you go to if you go to Equilibria, find out your e-colors, equilibria.com. You can go there and find out your e-colors for free. And if you ever want to come onto a course with us, then obviously you have to pay for the premium report and stuff like that.
Relationship coaching by the Wilks.
Relationship coaching is coming, let me tell you. Off the back of the relationship book, there'll be relationship coaching, absolutely. But one of the other
5 love languages, there's a little quiz at the back, and you can fill it in, and it will tell you what your love language. And out of the 5, so we mentioned 4. I don't know what the 5th one is now.
So it's words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
And it was funny. We guessed what we thought ours were, and it turns out they weren't them at all. and it's I guess what yours are and you guess what mine are, and they weren't correct.
Yeah. And there's an online. I know you said it's at the back of the book. There's actually an online. I'm pretty sure there's an online thing you can look at as well. So look up the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. Find their website. I think there's an online questionnaire you can do, same as eColour's online questionnaire. If you know your eColours and you know your love languages, trust me, you are well on the way to being able to understand and appreciate each other, and then actually like work together as a team.
And there's that great clip that Tony Robbins does with the guy that he's a musician, but his marriage is failing. It's not really working out. And you kind of feel sorry for him at the beginning, but then Tony Robbins says, so what does she want to do? And he's like, oh, I think she wants to be an artist. And he was like, if you fill your partner up first with everything they need or want, like if physical touch with Mark and words of affirmation, I will start to see the response to me, because you'll want to also fill me up with all the stuff that I need as well.
That's absolutely right. The more words of affirmation and physical touch that I get, the more acts of service and quality time you get. But it works the other way around as well, right? The more acts of service and quality time I give you, then the more words of affirmation and physical touch I'll get back from you. And it works. It so works. But it's about, you can only go into many people go into a relationship in order to get something. And it's not about getting something. It's about giving something. But you can only give what you've already got. That's why I took that time when I was single to get myself into a place where I was like, right, fill myself up with every piece of energy that I possibly can, and then find someone else and give all of that to her, and then we'll grow together.
And why is it so hard then? Why is it so hard then, Wilkes? Just to tell you, yeah, you did a good job at that stay, well done, and to give you a cuddle. Why does like a week or two go past and you think, oh, those 2 little things, I haven't done them? Because like life gets in the way and you're busy doing other stuff and you've got work and then you've got to get up for this or the dog or family things, and you just don't end up, I don't know, you get a bit complacent maybe with your partner.
I think you can, but I think once you've practiced total acceptance, I don't expect anything from you. I never did. I totally accept you, who you are, from the day I met you to the day you are today, and everything in between, and everything that will be to come. And I totally accept you as you are. When I do get words of affirmation, when you tell me something great or there's some physical touch, I feel great. It's a celebration. It's a great moment, and I appreciate it. And I always say thank you. This is awesome. And then we carry on with the rest of our lives. And I think that total acceptance was a good thing. And actually, one of the things that was attracting me about you was you're so family orientated. You're so into the kind of the fullness of family and the base, the solid foundation of everything. And
that's why my yellow is so small, because I come from such a big family. That's why my yellow, I think, is so small, because I come from such a big family that I never needed that outside kind of friends socializing, because we always used to have hundreds of cousins to play with, and my brother and my sister, and yeah, who needs friends?
But anyway. I went to, you invited me to a family.
Who's watching?
Sorry?
Apart from Emma, of course, who's watching.
That's right. You have very few friends, but you have quality friends, and that's important.
Yeah.
But one of the things I would say is that you invited me to a family party. I remember you invited me to a family party. We'd only been together about 3 months. And you said, well, you come to this family party. It's in this hotel near Gatwick or something. I went, yeah, all right. What is it going to be like? 10 people there for dinner. I walked in. There's like 150 people dancing to like the Fatback Band and Cameo and all this great soul music. And I'm just like standing there going like, what? And she says to me, if anyone speaks to you, they're a cousin.
unless I tell you otherwise, to introduce you to like the aunts and uncles and hierarchy of things.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
sure. You come from a family of like 6.
Yeah, well, yeah, very, very small family, and we don't see each other that much, to be fair. Pete's got a compliment for you, Emma, and I want to see your response.
Thank you, Pete.
He said, hang on, you haven't seen it. It says, well done, Emma. You've been fantastic, and this has to be one of the best book clubs yet. What do you say, Em?
Oh, thank you, Pete.
Go, well, hey. Right, so we need to talk about masculine and feminine, right? I touched on it earlier. We are made up of mum and dad. Some of us grow up with more masculine traits, and some of us grow up with more feminine traits. As Emma said earlier, she's actually more like her dad in many ways. So she's a woman, but she's got quite a few masculine traits where she was successful in business and continues to be so, and focused and get things done, and very organised and has so many great qualities. But we need to talk about the masculine and feminine within all of us. because we've all got it. And I actually grew up probably a little bit more feminine because my dad died when I was 18, as many of you have read. And I was brought up by my mum. And then I got into music and partying and DJing and all this great stuff. I was actually, as a yellow, blue in E-colours, more in the kind of feminine side of myself, if you like, than the masculine side of myself. And that's why relationships kept going wrong, because I didn't know how to be a masculine man. I didn't know how to be decisive. I didn't know how to offer positive advice and make things good. I didn't have a purpose, really. You know, I was all over the place.
I didn't know any of this until you kind of started doing your 5 days to remix your life, and you had that relationship section. And when you hear it, you're like, yeah, okay, so I do have, it's not, oh, you're masculine, like I'm a man, like, you know, I can switch from being more masculine and more feminine. And there's, like you always say, this isn't about men and women, it could be any sort of partner. Yeah, you just go between the two, or you just have, there are men out there that are much more feminine. And
so
women,
and women that are much more masculine, exactly right. But one of the things is, as long as you find each other and it works, then it's good. And you and I flip. I think we're quite balanced, actually, and we flip between different times in our relationship. There are moments in our relationship where you want me to take control, you want me to make a decision, and you want me to say, okay.
I make decisions all day, like you know, running my own business and doing things, like I'm making decisions all day. So when it comes to the evening, what do you want to do at the weekend? Do you want to go to a restaurant? Do you want to go to this one? There's nothing worse than giving me hundreds of options. I much prefer it when I can then go back into my feminine and you say, we're going out for dinner, we're going here. I'm like, yeah, brilliant. I haven't even had to think about it. Thank you very much. We'll go there.
Yeah, exactly right. Or we're going to watch this film, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do this, you know, that kind of stuff. And because I know what you like. I've spent 8 years with you. I've spent time learning about what you like to do. You don't like loads of surprises.
The other night, you knew I wanted to watch that program on Amazon Prime, and you turned that fantastic film on. But the point is, I wanted to watch my program, and you just made the decision that you were going to watch that film.
I need to post about that film. I need to post about that film because it's called Nobody, and it's got Bob Odenkirk in it. It was in Breaking Bad. He was Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. From Better Call Saul. The film's called Nobody. It's on Sky. If you like your Tarantino, and that kind of stuff, it's made by a Russian director. It is awesome. It's savage, but it is awesome. And it's called Nobody. And by the way, Emma loved the film by the end of it, and she will get to watch it. I
was still annoyed at the end of it that we didn't get to watch my program. But anyway, carry on.
We will get to watch your program. So let's talk about the masculine and the feminine within all of us. Masculine is all about fullness. Sorry, no, it's not. Masculine is all about freedom. Everything a masculine person does, and a woman has masculine in her as well. So every masculine part of you is about freedom. It's about financial freedom. It's about freedom in the world. It's about traveling. It's about, you know, playing your hobbies. That's masculine. Masculine is about that. For me, cycling, riding my motorbike, playing golf, going to Chelsea, all these things are masculine freedoms, all of them, every single thing. Coaching other people and uplifting other people is part of my masculine freedom. I absolutely love it. The feminine side of us, each of us, is about fullness. And for me, fullness is about, and certainly for Emma, is about family. It's about pictures all over the house. It's about putting nice things.
It's called making a home.
Yeah, hold on. I know you want to share. Have you got that quote about fullness? Have you got it there?
No, I'm not reading that quote. That was terrible. It was a joke.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So the fullness that Emma, there's a plant in my bedroom. I don't know what it's there for. I've never watered it. I walk past it every day, and I'm like, oh, it's a plant. But the point is that it's not me. If I lived on my own, there would be no plant.
Yeah, but isn't it nice?
It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. But it's not my choice. It's not my masculine. My masculine freedom would be totally focused on all the things I was speaking about. Obviously, money, financial freedom, you know, helping others, doing all this great stuff, right? And then getting really, really focused on those freedoms. I'm not that bothered about the plant or the picture.
The fullness, I know you go on about knickknacks, but I know you love them really. The fullness isn't just about that. It's like having that safe haven of a home and a house, and knowing that I can depend on Mark in this instance. If I phone him up, he's going to be there. My family around me, feeling safe and secure. That's the fullness for me.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And knowing that, you know, from the masculine, you know, my responsibility, I put a couple of I put a couple of analogies in the book, and I also put them on my 5 Days to Remix Your Life course, which we'll do another one in September. A couple of analogies that came to me, or certainly were shared, but I think they're from The Way of the Superior Man. I read them and memorized them. I was like, I love them. So he talks about the masculine in all of us is the solid, dependable part of us that just is always there. No matter what the weather, no matter what's going on, it's like the earth. It's solid. It's always there. That's the bit we can depend upon in ourselves. And the feminine is more like the weather. So the feminine within every one of us is more like the weather. So at times the sun's out and you're basking in the sunshine and you're like, oh, yes, this is amazing. It's beautiful sunshine. Aren't I lovely and grateful and beautiful? You know, I love the sunshine. I love the warmth. That for me, that'll be the words of affirmation and the physical touch. I'm basking in that. It's lovely. And other times, the feminine within all of us, there'll be a storm. There'll be a storm. There'll be rain clouds. There'll be all kinds of stuff going on. And the more feminine people that I know can be prone to having more of these kind of emotional storms. And that's where the quote from the very beginning of the book comes from, essentially, which is that that's the difference. One of the differences between masculine and feminine. The other one, which you know, and we read earlier, Ems, is about the beach, where the beach is the masculine. It's always there. It's not going anywhere. It's just there. It's solid. All right, it's moving and shifting a little bit, but it's the beach. It's solid. It's there all the time. And then the feminine is more like the waves. So the waves will come in and it's all over you, and the tide is in, and you're like, oh, here we go again. The tide is in. The sun is out. It's all amazing. And then another time, the tide's gone out and you're standing on the beach on your own going, right. And
what's your Mickey Flanagan thing that you like to say to me?
I love Mickey Flanagan. He's hilarious. Mickey Flanagan, he talks about a sketch where he's talking about, I think it's the time when he talks about I forgot to get the card when he goes to Mr. Ahmed's and he has to come back, and he comes back with this card that's just like terrible. It's got like cars on it or stuff like that, and he gives it to his wife like, happy birthday, love. Like, and she gets the raging up. She's like, this is, I forgot to get the card. And she rows away from Love Island. And he's standing there with a dog, and she's like miles in the distance. He's going, come back. And there's a few expletives in there that I'll leave out.
The funny thing is, even being married to the greatest husband in the world, I do feel myself like going away from the beach, like rowing away from Love Island. And I can feel it happening. And it's times like that where I kind of think, well, I don't know, I just kind of think, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you to be near me. I don't, I'm going to, whatever, just in a mood, basically. But then I always know that it will, like, I'll go back to the beach in the end, and that you'll be there, which is good.
So you'll row back to Love Island.
Row back to Love Island, to you and Frankie. Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. These analogies, and by the way, we get so many amazing. We get so many great comments here. Diana, Jack, Pete, Caroline, loads of people commenting them, and Graham from India. Loads of people saying how much they're loving your input, and I know you'll read them all afterwards as well across all of our social media platforms. So just to sort of, just to round it up, I guess, in a few things, there's Dimple Thakrar, who relationship coach, who was on one of my very early straight talkings. Perhaps we'll get her back one day in the future. She talks a lot about relationships, and she talks about masculine and feminine needs. Now, we've spoken very truly and truthfully about masculine and feminine, all of us, etc. It's not man and woman or any of that crap. It's actually masculine and feminine needs. So the feminine needs are defined as to being safe, seen, and heard. What do you think about
that? Yeah, I'd agree with that. In comparison to the masculine ones, I don't know what they are.
Yeah, but if you feel safe, seen, and heard, as when you're in your feminine, by the way, because we know you're in your masculine at times as well. But when you're in your feminine, when you're safe, seen, and heard.
Yeah, I think that's important to any feminine person that they're with, that you do want to feel safe with them. You do want to be seen, not just like, you just going about your business and don't even notice that I'm around. Yeah, and I do want to be heard when you're actually properly listening to me.
What? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so, hey!
What's that?
Yeah. What? Yeah. So I was miles away. No, anyway. Actually, that's quite an interesting point, because you made that point earlier, and I think we should share that, because I do say something in the book, and it's something from David Dada, in all honesty, and it's actually about making time. If you're a masculine person and you need to get yourself on your purpose, on point, getting things happening, getting things moving, the key to that, and the key to a successful relationship, is to make sure that you make a specific amount of time every day to really truly listen to your feminine partner. And I'm okay at it, Ems. I'm not the greatest. I know you could quite happily say that, but I do listen. There's times when I'll just sit down, because I can hear you. I do hear you when you say stuff, and I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, you do the proper masculine, where like you'll listen to me, but then you'll try and fix the problem, or you'll try to give me a coaching session. I don't want a coaching session. I don't need you to fix me. I just want you to listen to your own. Then I feel better to get it off my chest.
Just listen. You might have seen, people might have seen that video, a little 2-minute video clip on YouTube called "It's Not About the Nail." It's not about the nail. Watch it, because it's so true. And you know, in my masculine world, all I do, and the majority of masculine people, all they do is fix stuff. Construction, fix stuff. Do you know what I mean? Coaching, fix stuff. Do you know what I mean? You're fixing. That's what you're doing. And all of a sudden, your feminine partner comes in, and she just wants to be heard. And you have to stop yourself from going into, fix that. Yeah. Well, why don't you just do that? You've got a nail in your head. You know, it's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's about really, really listening to the feminine emotion and allowing them to clear it.
Yeah, and about listening, not just turning your phone off and looking at me. I want you to actually listen. So I should be able to quiz you after it, and you'll pass the quiz.
It was your birthday. It was your birthday last weekend, wasn't it?
Why are you mentioning that?
Did you get everything on your list?
Yeah, in a box. Wasn't even wrapped.
The test. Look, I'm failing the I'm laughing, so I'm passing the test. But the point of it is that I listened, and you did get everything you asked for.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that's
kind of a bit laziness on your part, because I could ask for like 30 things, and you would give me all 30 things. I kind of want you to. Here's my list. I want you to choose what's important to you, Mark. And that, I really want to get Emma this. I really want to get Emma that. Not just you asked for 55 things, all of them delivered to the house, job done. I'm like, no, it's not about that, because I could buy them for myself if I wanted it.
All masculine partners look. All masculine partners look at the testing that's going on right now. Here's a beautiful example of it. It's amazing, right? And the point of it is that I've put in the book, and I'm coaching some people that some guys that are recently divorced, and certain things that are going on in relationships. I'm happy to coach people with that. The point is that a lot of masculine, particularly men, I guess in this state, but a lot of masculine people, if they're in a relationship with the feminine, they've got the masculine-feminine polarity, they would call the testing nagging. And the fact that, some people, I know some, even people related to me, that with that little thing that just happened there, well, I got everything she wanted. And I still can't win. You know what I mean? It's getting nagged. I'm getting nagged. But the point of it is,
because you've not listened. I would tell you I want 3 hoodies, 3 different colours, for you to choose which colour you think I would like. That'd be nice. You've actually chosen something. But then you end up buying me the 3 hoodies in all 3 colours. That's a bit lazy.
Yeah, but I didn't know. You only got the one. But anyway, okay. Your point is well made. It's very important.
Now you say nagging, and I can see when I'm testing you. But I'm testing you because I want to stay with you, and I want you to pass the test, I guess.
You're testing me because you want me to be better.
Yeah, always.
Exactly right.
The day I don't test you is the day you should get worried.
Yeah. It's the day, the day you don't ring me, or the day you don't ask my advice, or the day you don't want me to be involved in something, then there's a problem. And I think that, my job is to be, and I know you don't like the title of the way of the superior man, but my job is to be a better version. I used to be a very mediocre man. I just didn't learn. My dad died when I was young, and I didn't learn. I didn't understand. I was mediocre. And then I've learned, and I continue to learn. And I learn every day. I'm not. Is anyone ever the finished article? I'd say every day is a school day. Keep learning, keep growing. But the point of this is that
it is a good book for men. But I think that the real masculine man kind of reads that and thinks, no, I'm a man, I don't need to read that. That's nothing in that book can tell me anything I need to know about women and how to look up, how to treat them, look after them. And then as a feminine woman, that book really annoys me, because I can see you're doing stuff in the book now. Like if I'm having a meltdown and you just come and hug me and you won't let go, and it does work, I'm like, God, the book is actually working. That's so irritating. Or when you sit down and you're like, Ems, I'm like, that's irritated me already, because I know you're just doing it because the book told you to. But if you are a man, read the book, but don't tell your partner you've read it, and just see what happens. I would say.
I think your point, Em, is valid in your opinion, and I understand that. From a masculine point of view, that is a very, very important book, and it's got game changers in it. What I would say is actually that you and I are doing this interview, and I think you have to write the relationship book with me. I think you have to, because if you don't, then it's just going to come from a masculine perspective, much of it, and I think your feminine voice needs to be heard.
Okay.
Yay! Taking on another project. Woo-hoo. So we haven't actually touched on the masculine needs of every single.
What are they?
So the masculine needs from Dimple, but I think they resonate with many people. So feminine, safe, seen, heard. The masculine side of us is sex, praise, and respect. And if you go back to my my words of affirmation, that's where the praise is needed for my masculine side.
Yeah, I always found it funny how women can seem to juggle like 50 million things, and the husband doesn't say thank you, but he comes along and puts the dishwasher on, and I've got to thank him for it. What? I do that every day, 3 times a day. I've got to thank you for putting the dishwasher on. But yeah, the masculine does apparently need that.
Well, there's a standing joke in our house when I do something, and I know it winds you up, and it's funny.
It does wind me up. I
know, but it's funny because I literally, I've done that, Ems. I've taken the bins out or something, and I'm laughing because I know that she's laughing. That
he'll literally put the bins out, and he'll come in and go, like you just won a football match or something. Like, just put the bins out.
Well, it's all part of the fun and the joy, isn't it? It's all part of the fun and the games, and about appreciation, laughing. We're supposed to enjoy it. Life is meant to be easy, simple, and fun. It is meant to be enjoyable. Of course, there's going to be little moments. There's going to be little tests. There's going to be things that go on in a relationship. Emma and I are not meant to be best friends. We're meant to be masculine and feminine polarity. We're lovers. We're husband and wife, but we're also each other's biggest supporter.
We do switch when you have a bad day, which, yes, ladies and gentlemen, he sometimes does have a bad day when he's not up and buzzy and mental. And I need to kind of take over and step into my masculine and let you know what's going to happen and what we're doing. And
I would say particularly that's a Sunday when I can run out of quite a lot of time when my batteries run out. I give so much to my week. I'm on coaching all day. I'm working. I'm adding value. I'm doing health and safety. I'm doing property. I'm doing everything. I'm in there, work, hour by hour, bringing joy, living my purpose, doing positive things, making music, doing all this stuff, writing a book, doing all of that stuff. And guess what? On a Sunday, I run out of juice, and I'm literally like, woof. And we need Sundays particularly.
Yeah, that reminds me of another story that I just wanted to mention. Like last Sunday in particular, it was acts of service. Mark, will you come to the pet shop with me? He was literally like, oh, do I have to? I'm like so tired. I just need to lay down and have a sofa day. But something I learned from the guru that is Guy Hammond, when we went out for lunch and his son came running over and said, Dad, can I climb that massive oak tree? And I looked at this tree and thought, oh, leave off. No way. That's so dangerous. No parent's going to do that. And Guy just looked at him and said, do what you want. I was literally like, oh my, this is going to go bad. But now I find I do it with you a lot. When I say, Wilkes, will you do this with me, or can you come here with me? And like, I know you don't want to do it. I'm literally like, and I say it out loud, I say, do what you want. Because there's no point me forcing you to come and spend the day with me or come and do something with me when your masculine is searching for the freedom, which ultimately the freedom is to do what you want. If you want to have a sofa day, if you want to play golf, if you want to watch football, yeah, I'm literally like, do what you want. And it's surprising how it kind of, I don't know, it kind of takes a weight off my shoulders. because I'm like, yeah, all right, do what you want to do. If you don't want to spend time, I'd rather when we spend time together, it's because you want to, not because I've dragged you around to come and do it with me. So yeah, that's my guru thing from Guy. Do what you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an awesome woman my wife is, right? I mean,
I thought you were going to say, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Guy Hammond.
Mr. Guy, life lessons from my old schoolmate Guy Hammond. Yeah, I love Guy. I played golf with him the other week. It's great to see him. And yeah, I tell him that every time I see him. I'm like, Ems has got a mantra from you. Do what you want. Actually, the thing I would say is just change that slightly and just say, do what you like. You know, do what you like to do, and not in a negative way, not in a do what you like, but do what you like to do. You know, I'll still be there. Pardon?
Yeah, the same with do what you want. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Do what you want. But in every stage of life, it actually helps me. Like if I'm at work and I've given this client an amazing proposal and they say, oh, do you know what? I think we'll scrap that and do that. In my mind, I kind of think, yeah, all right, do what you want. And it kind of releases me from, well, you want to do it that way. Yeah. And I stop thinking about it. Like, why is he doing that? And why does he want to come out with me? And why won't he spend time with me? It's just, you do what you want. I'll do what I want. But I think all that comes with age as well. When you're like, you just starting dating people when you're 18, like 20, and it's important. You want to know that they want to spend time with you. Every spare second, you should be spending it with me. Why don't you want to see me? Why don't you want to? But then, yeah, when you get older, yeah, you just begin to learn that those aren't really the important things.
But also that's feminine fullness. You want, younger women, they want that feminine fullness. They want that someone with them all the time, fill the gap, be with me all the time, be with me all the time.
Yeah.
As you say, as you get older, you can appreciate the best relationships. I've written this in the book. We read it earlier. The best relationships are when two partners are in their different polarities, but neither one is making an issue of it. So I know you need feminine fullness when you're in your feminine, and I'll do everything I can to be there for you. So we have time off and we do lovely things together and we see people and all that kind of stuff. Happy to do it. I love it. I enjoy it. But also, that there's moments where I'm like, I'm playing golf with the lads today. I'm on a golf society, and you're like, yeah, do what you want.
But then that also goes back to feminine fullness, where feminine fullness for me kind of means I'm happy with myself. I'm happy in my own company. If you don't want to come, fine, I'll go on my own. Like it's.
You got a dog now. You got a dog now. You take the puppy.
Well, even if I leave the dog with you, it's fine. I'm just complete in myself and happy with myself that I will just. You do what you want. I'll do what I want. Happy days. See you later.
And I'll meet basically after this interview, which, by the way, we said we'd only do an hour. We're here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I always, when you ever came in the house from these interviews, I'd always be like, why on earth are you talking for an hour and like 2 hours to people? And now I'm looking at this, I'm thinking an hour and a half. And yeah, I get it now. I can see where you end up chat.
Yeah, especially when you're with someone that you relate to, that you can talk to. And that, by the way, the word relationship is about relating. It's about relating to one another. If a relationship is about relating to each other, and everything we've spoken about, e-colors, love languages, appreciation, masculine, feminine, all of that is about appreciating each other and relating to each other. And there's some wonderful stuff coming up on the screen. I'm going to put up in a minute.
The other question I've got for you is, you say that the masculine needs are, what were they?
Sex, praise, respect.
See, it can be like a bit like a vicious circle, because masculine would only get that if he does what the women needs, which are safe, seen and heard. If you don't do safe, seen and heard, you won't get none of that stuff at all. But
I absolutely agree. And if you remember,
if you're in a relationship and one person isn't kind of holding up their end of the bargain, I don't know, how can you keep that going?
So for masculine partners, and this is the really important thing. It's a great point you make. The masculine partner, whoever's in their masculine more of the time, is actually responsible for the state of the relationship. And that is one of the rings. That's one of the things I want to do. Is I want to reach younger and younger men and make them understand that they are responsible largely for the state of the relationship. It is not down to the feminine. Pardon?
Yeah. So if they don't moan about, oh, I'm not getting enough sex and praise and freedom, I can't see my mate, she's nagging, she won't let me out. If they actually help their feminine to be as full as they can by making sure they're safe, seen and heard, all that other stuff will just come naturally and the circle will keep going, is what you're saying.
100%. And, you know, this is a practice you have to get into. You have to be coached. You have to understand it. You have to get moving. You have to start to think in a different way. Most of the stuff that I learned when I was younger didn't really serve me. And I had to learn it from all these books and these great teachers and these amazing people that I've interviewed and interacted with, people that have endorsed the book, Proctor, Shymoff, you know, all these amazing people, all saying that I'm on it here and I know what I'm doing. And the point is that, yes, you're absolutely right. And one of my things is to get to younger guys and make them understand that it's their responsibility. Responsibility is the key to freedom. It's a classic phrase now. Responsibility is the key to freedom. If you want your freedom, you want your masculine freedom, take responsibility. Take responsibility for the relationship. Take responsibility for yourself first, then take responsibility for the relationship, and then see your happiness come and make it. And it happens. It happens. You and I are the proof of it.
Like what you say about, it's like what you say, don't worry about making money. If you give, it will come to you. So everything's about the giving, basically. Because when you're younger, you just want what you want. Safe, seen and heard, praise, sex, and whatever the other one was. And when you're younger, that's all you think about. Well, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. So I'll move on to the next one. And I'll move on to the next one. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that.
But the thing about that is that it's all about I, or me. And the minute you take the focus off me and you think about what I've done all this self-development, Tony Robbins relationship stuff, all the stuff you read, David Dida, everything. And I went into our relationship. What can I give? What can I give to this woman that's actually going to help her to be attracted to me and us to be on the same path? I looked at her bookshelf and she had all the same sort of books as me, and she read some of them, and I was like, okay, cool. And then we watched The Secret together. Then I asked her to do the e-colors, and she was like, oh, okay. And it just got better and better. But the best thing of all is in a relationship when you just keep giving to each other. So it's not, you hear a lot of relationships where someone says, oh, I give, and they take all the time. Then it's not the right relationship. Find a relationship where you give to each other. So I'm giving as much as I can to you. You're giving as much as you can to me. And between us, we keep on growing into I know where we're going. I know where we're going, and I know you know where we're going. And I think it's good stuff, Em. It's really good.
Yeah. Well done, Wilkes.
One of the other things I would say, if you remember as well, when you're talking about the safe, seen and heard and the sex, praise and respect, remember that T-shirt I was talking about when the man and the woman in Miami, and one of them said no money, no honey, and the other one said no honey, no money. And I just thought that was quite a funny kind of thing. I mean, it's a very based kind of thing about what we spoke about there about safe, seen and heard and sex, praise and respect. But I think it's good stuff. I think taking responsibility is what you've got to do. And ultimately, what you've got to do is you've got to be grateful.
So what about when you've got like 4 kids, 2 jobs, husband, house to clean, all of this sort of stuff? Like, you've got to give to your children. I don't know. I'm just thinking, I can understand why people kind of stop giving, because there's just so much going on, and they've got the school runs to do and the club pickups, and then this happened, and homework and washing and tidying the kitchen and all of that sort of stuff.
Gratitude is the attitude for everything that you need in your life. Any mental problem, any kind of issue can be solved with gratitude. I've got a little thing here that I want to try and read to you if I can find it. Here it is. So there's 2 things here. One is the Take 3 book, which you know about, which I interviewed the authors of that, about things to be grateful for in the morning, in the past and present, things to be grateful for in the future, and then things that went well today and some mirror work. This is a really useful tool to have. But let me read you a little bit about this. It's from Bob Proctor's book. It's called It's Not About the Money. It says a wealthy mindset is impossible without gratitude, and gratitude is impossible without a wealthy mindset. It doesn't matter what your bank balance is or how you feel in your relationship, as we're talking about now. Gratitude is linked to your mindset and perception of life. Those who have developed and cultivated a wealthy mindset know that there are stages of gratitude, and that deepens over time. If you stay on course, so if you've got 3 kids, you've got the puppy, you've got this, you've got that, but you can still be grateful for all of it, that's powerful. Then you're in control. We are taught as children to be grateful to be polite and say thank you for gifts and gestures. But for most children, this gratitude is just cursory. Not until attitude do we feel the basic stage of true gratitude. Why? Because it's not until you're on your own that you realize the sacrifices that others have made to get you where you are. You realize that they have given you more than you could ever repay in word or deed. And that's when we experience the emotion of true gratitude for the first time. And that's how I felt about my mother the day I had to ask her for 500 quid to go bankrupt.
I've lost the flow of this. Like, why are you talking about gratitude? I'm talking about finding 10 minutes of a day for us to give full attention to each other, but life just gets in the way and it doesn't happen. How can you kind of stop that from happening?
You have to have self-love, and self-love is love of the self and then love of your partner. And ultimately, if you don't love yourself, then you're going to be too busy. I'm too busy. I've got to. In my diary, there are certain moments of the week that are pure me time. Going to the gym. Yeah. There are other moments that are pure us time, when we book in a date and we go somewhere, or we book a holiday, or we book anything, you know, those are our moments. In fact, the hardest thing, I know this is hashtag first world problems, but the hardest thing for us is that without our holidays and without being able to get away for a week for the last 18, 20 months or whatever, we've just worked solidly. And that's why I feel we're both feeling pretty exhausted today and going forwards. So I think that, you know, self-love, the ultimate self-love is making time for you and for your intimate partner. Ultimate self-love. And if you don't do it, then you're too busy being pulled from pillar to post, and then your life's gone, and that's it. Bang, done.
Yeah, it's hard though to, like, it's not that you don't do it, like, you want to do it, but then before you know it, you finish work, you come in, you've got the dinner on, you've sat down, it's bedtime, and it goes over again. It's like actually trying to make those dedicated. Remember back in the day, Wilkes, when we first started going out and we had our date list. What's happened to that?
I've still got it.
Yeah, but that's lovely.
I've still got the date list. It's sitting comfortably in my.
They've still got books in like tombs in Egypt. That's what that date list will become. Each month,
I move it forward another month, hoping for a moment where the world will start to open up and we'll start to be able to do some of those things again. And
little things like that, a date list. We're going to go here, we're going to do that, or we're going to just get a takeaway with a few candles, or we're going to like to make that sort of time for each other is important. And I think you need to put, just like you would book a Zoom meeting or book an appointment with a client, you've actually, so it's a bit of a sad world where you've actually got to put it in your diary. Date with Emma, dinner with Emma, 10 minutes, full attention, quality time with Emma.
I can't say that I put those kind of things, but certainly dates. You know, if it's a Saturday night and I'm not doing release radio or I'm not doing Mixcloud and stuff like that, it's like date night with Emma, right? It's date night with Emma. What can I plan? What can I do? What can work? And as the cinemas and the restaurants start to open up more, then obviously we'll have more freedom. So, pardon?
I'd love to go to the cinema.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes.
As soon as the James Bond film comes out, Ems will go to the cinema. But listen.
I can see 115 comments.
Yeah, you got a lot to catch up on. I'll put some more up in a minute. One of the things, before I put some of the comments up, one of the things I want to say is that you said earlier, you know, it's really difficult because I've got all this stuff going on. And I know the reason you said that, because that is your life in some ways, but it's also a lot of people's lives as well.
For our friends that have got 3-4 children and a cat and a dog and a work and
and I understand it. I understand why is
your husband's sex praise and the other one.
Yeah, well, the husband, here's the thing, the masculine has got to turn up and make sure that the feminine feels safe, seen and heard. And if the masculine steps up, stops being mediocre and steps up to become superior, and make sure that your feminine partner feels safe, seen and heard all the time, however they need it. And the most feminine women or feminine people, the most feminine people will be the most testing. So, you know, you don't test me that much. You test me enough that I can cope with it and I can deal with the testing and it's all good because you're more balanced and I'm more balanced now. So that balance really works for us. But there'll be some relationships where you've got a very masculine partner and you've got a very feminine partner and they'll always be blowing up at each other and then making up and blah, 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 all that. each relationship is different. And you have to find the one that works for you and the one that you can deal with. But one of the things I've got to say, and I've got to just, it's not meant to be a coaching session for you or me or anything, but when you say it's hard, you know, and I know you're saying it for other people, because many people will use that. Go, it's too hard. It's too hard. Well, remember our mantra from when we got coached some years ago. It's easy, it's simple, it's fun. That's the attitude we need to be.
And I could easily cop out and be like, oh, well, Mark's just said it's the masculine who needs to keep this circle going, and it's them to be the superior man. But yeah, my kind of girl power in me kind of thinks, well, no, if I actually step up to do the things you need, then it will keep, you just want to keep that wheel turning, don't you? And if it slows down because you're too busy, or you're playing golf or whatever it is, or if it slows down because of me, then we've got to help keep the plate spinning. And
we point that out to each other.
Yeah, and we do point that out to each other. Where I nag about quality time, perhaps, and you announce again that you're going to golf. I'm like, I get it. That's your freedom. You want to go and like, yeah. But then I'm like, do what you want. Great, go and do it. Then I'll do what I want.
So let's get a few comments up. There's loads of them. Pete, nice one. Just reminded me, put the bins out. Back in a minute.
Yes. Put those bins out, Pete.
Caroline says, it's great listening to you both being so open and honest. I'm going to rewrite my profile on Match.com in a more feminine manner in bullet points. What a beauty.
And do you know what, Caroline? A tip for Match.com, get someone to write it for you. Because it's so much easier for someone to talk about you than for you to talk about yourself, especially when you're writing. You're basically marketing yourself on Match.com. Why you should date me, why you should meet up for that drink, why you should give me that wink. So I find if you get someone to write it for you, although I did write my own. Did you write your own, Mark?
I did, yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. But you know me, I love talking about me.
Yeah, exactly.
Diana says, we all learn every day is a school day in all of our relationships. I love life. Thanks, guys. Great, honest, and real conversation. Paul says, good stuff, you two. Very relatable. Thank you, mate. That's really cool of you. Loads more comments coming in. Whoever this is says, Frankie doesn't need an appointment, so act like. Oh, there we go. Peter says, where's Frankie? He's I'm
a bit concerned about where Frankie is and what state.
He's making mayhem. He's making mayhem somewhere in the house. So that's all good. And Leslie says, what are the masculine needs again, please? So Leslie, the masculine needs within you or within any masculine partner, and if they're very masculine, it'll be sex, praise, and respect. But you've got masculine in you as well, and so you need those things also. But the feminine needs in all of us, safe, seen, heard. So
like e-colours, we've actually got all 6 of them within us. And sometimes we need different things, is I guess what you're saying.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Because it's masculine and feminine. So many people
safe, seen, and heard as well at points.
Well, actually, as a more feminine young man, as I grew up trained by my mother, who tried to be both parents to me, but I don't think that's physically possible. She did her very, very best and did a bloody good job, in the majority of ways. Safe, seen, and heard. That's what I wanted. I wanted safe, seen, and heard. Yeah, sure, I wanted some sex, praise, and respect as well, but I wanted to be safe, seen, and heard. And I made a lot of mistakes. I went out with a lot of women. And I was, I'm 6'4", I'm a huge guy. They thinking that I'm going to be this sort of like, super masculine man, and I'm not, And it was only when I started to get self-aware and understand masculine, feminine, and understand that my role is to be the masculine in the relationship and to make it work. I suppose I could have stayed in my feminine and gone out with a very masculine woman, but I wasn't really what I wanted. My deep core was like, no, I'm a masculine man. I need to assert that. So I asserted my masculine. And the next thing you know, I read all this stuff, I get myself all together, I get myself back on my feet, and I make things happen. And then I met you, which is amazing. So thank you, Leslie, for that. Someone else says, hide the clubs, Emma. Very good. There's loads more M's. You can read all these afterwards. Jack's just saying, I'm reading Bob Proctor's book at the moment. I can't put it down. Yeah, gratitude is the attitude you have to have. So, so many people tonight. We've been here for an hour and 3/4, and Emma and I both came into this feeling a little bit rough today. Not COVID. I did have a COVID test earlier this afternoon because I was feeling a bit rough. But We're good. I think we've had a lovely evening chat. I think we're going to go and watch Netflix for a bit and make sure the dog is still somewhere in the perimeter of the house.
He's very safe.
Yeah, making sure he's safe. Yeah, we need to make sure he's safe and seen next. So that's all good. Emma, listen, I know that was so far outside of your comfort zone. I really do appreciate you doing this with us tonight, or with me tonight.
I actually really enjoyed it. To all you greens out there, give it a try. You might actually like it.
That's right. It's about moving just ever so slightly. You know, everyone's got their own pace. I decided to move way outside of my comfort zone, to turn into construction, to make a new career, make a new life, do everything I've been doing for the last 10 years. Incidentally, I've just gone back and made the best record I've ever made with Kenny Thomas, which will be out in the next couple of months. You know, but the point is that I'm doing it on my terms now. Moving outside your comfort zone, as Emma has done tonight, is really where your joy is. And it's really important to keep going.
What's the chapter's called Now That We Found Love? And you say it's about loving yourself, and it's about also loving your own voice. I always used to think, well, I haven't got anything to say. What do people want to hear what I have to say, or what my opinion is? It's not important.
Right. Stop there, Emma, because I want every single person who's watching this, there's quite a few watching this on YouTube and various different places. I want every single person, and I've got one comment already. It said, you've both been great. Thank you, Emma. You are a natural in front of the camera. Okay. I want every single person to tell Emma how she's been this evening.
I don't like big praise.
I know, but they're not here. They're not going to pray. But I just want them to reaffirm to you that you do actually have a voice, and you do have. That's
what I'm saying. Now that I found love, it's like you do love yourself, especially as you get older. Yeah, I have got a voice. I have got something to say, and I have got things that other greens like me might want to hear. Other blues, yellows, and reds as well might want to hear it. So the fact that I shied away from this normally, I've actually quite enjoyed it. And
Emma,
the fact that we're working for 2 hours, losing my voice.
Emma, you smashed it. Leslie, amazing with a green heart. You've been amazing, Emma. Fantastic.
You know I hate this. Thank you, everyone. You know I hate this, Wilkes.
Thank you so much for this evening. Yet again, another amazing, insightful chat. Mr. and Mrs. Wilkes, you both rock. Thanks, guys. You know, round of applause. Beautiful, Em. Honestly, Em, listen, seriously, you've got a voice.
If it helps someone else, or maybe plants the seed that, hang on, I'm going to put the bins out tonight. But act of service, that little thing, that little reminder, then it's all good, isn't it?
I'm going to leave the last comment to Jack here before I talk about the bins. Emma, you're a natural in front of the camera. I definitely wouldn't be able to tell that you're not comfortable doing this. So that's amazing. Emma's actually become an e-colours practitioner and coach with me, and we will be coaching together as e-colours coaches. We've got our first few clients in the UK at Heathrow and various other companies. If you're interested in knowing more about that in your business, all you've got to do is reach out to us. We will be doing more and more together as going forward, and Emma will become further and further outside of a comfort zone, and potentially a co-author on a book coming up. So that would be exciting. I know many of you watching have got a copy of Life Remixed, but do buy a copy for your friends if you want to. There it is. Thanks, Em. Many of you, buy a copy for friends, family. The audio book is coming out in the next 4 or 5 weeks. We should have the audio book ready to go. Emma's listened through.
A great voice, Mark. It's lovely to hear you read your actual book.
Emma, thank you, Em. And I know you listened through it word for word with your green detail. You went through the whole thing with me, and that was amazing. The audio book's coming soon, so you can listen to me in your cars. It's been produced by Jason Cadden, who's done an amazing job. And those of you in the coaching clients group will have seen Jason's recent weight loss. He looks amazing. Doing that 6-pack challenge. Yeah. So yeah, big up, Jace. This is all good stuff. We're here to help. We're here to grow. We're here to be positive and help each other and get moving and get moving forward. Jack, I promise I'll sign it for you. But what I would say is it's been amazing. It's been almost 2 hours. Emma and I deserve a little rest and a little lay down and a chill and watch our Netflix show.
Well, you sign my book as well.
I'll bring that a bit closer to the screen because you asked me to do that earlier. Look. Hang on. You right in here. Look, and there's a big love heart. Look.
I'm supposed to sign my copy. That's great.
So I need to sign my.
You need to sign Jack's and you need to sign mine.
I need to sign my wife's copy. I need to think. I can't just write like a little enjoy or something. I've actually got to write something of note for my wife. So yeah, I need to get that going. Leslie just says I could listen to you both for hours more. Thank you, Leslie. That is really beautiful. Expect more from Mrs. Wilkie as we progress, and expect a co-author. I want to drag her into
I might become a bigger coach than you, Mark.
Do it. I'll support you 100%. I will support you 100% in whatever it is you would like to achieve.
Oh, thank you.
And if you look at Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, as I've mentioned to you before, Robert Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then a few years later, his wife, Kim Kiyosaki, came through and he's equally as big a coach as Robert is, and does a huge podcast, and they're a successful couple. It takes masculine and feminine to make something happen.
Behind a successful man.
No, alongside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. Shall I go and check on the dog now?
I think we need to go and check on the dog. I'll be in a minute. Listen, I just want to say massive love to Emma, obviously, for doing this and for being here and talking about that more feminine perspective, but showing she's got a masculine side to get things done. Beautiful. Testing me live on air. And yeah, keeping smiling still through the whole thing. So massive love to every one of you. Thank you for being with us for so long this evening. Tomorrow night, Andy Ward and myself straight talking. That will be awesome. Big love. Thanks very much. See you all soon.